Been saying it for years, folks. This game has too much junk in it. But you know, highlighting random crap that no one else touches is exactly what this channel is built upon, so why stop now? What is Wagstaff's abandoned junk? Am I about to get sniped in the head? And why does that chest look like it ate another chest for breakfast? Let's discuss. After we embark on a teensy tiny journey about how we even got to this point, that is, our friend Alter awaits awakening, so assemble the altars and brave the storm, as simply starting the lunar endgame isn't enough for all that stuff. With the bounties of the moon gathered though, it is time to not only say hello to the celestial champion turned meteoric omnidroid, but brutally murder it as well. All three phases at that, but do so, and the cryptic founder himself will appear with the proposition. Either offer him the enlightened shard that drops with every celestial champion kill nowadays, with no explanation as to why he actually needs it. Well, besides a literal warning of how annoying things are about to become, or refuse and he'll just naff off thinking that we're the issue here. And I bring this up as the latter is annoying in and of itself, as if he does dip, we need to take a trip around the world to randomly find the guy if we truly do want what's to come. And thus, the junket cometh, alongside the lunar rifts of course, but we don't really care about them today. Which also just goes to show how disconnected the lunar content has become, as this junk ain't spawning nowhere else but the actual junkyard for the time being. But 4 to 7 days after offering the shard to Wagstaff, he will appear and run in the direction of his junk. But if you already know where the scrapyard is, then you're golden. Each Wagstaff set piece will generate with 3 abandoned junk and a research note. An item that truly only serves as a nod to lore, so I'd ignore it for now. Grab a hammer and smash instead. Each piece of junk can drop 1 to 2 scrap guaranteed, with a 75% chance for cutstone, a 10% chance at electrical doodads, a 40% chance at 4 separate blueprints unique to this set piece, a 15% chance at frazzled wires, and a whopping 1% chance at the denture trinkets. Obviously, the blueprints are our ticket to new fun, so thankfully once one drops, the others are more common. Which is also wonderful news because with every abandoned junk set piece, it becomes longer and longer for Wagstaff to show up. But we have the Elastis Spacer here costing scrap, pure brilliance, and another enlightened shard, the Auto-Mat-O-Canic that are thankfully a lot cheaper as you can see, and of course the creme de la creme, the 2 Warbis armor pieces, also requiring 1 enlightened shard though, mind. So with words in mind that chances are you've never even heard before, how do we get all this crap for all the other crap, Beardo? Well, hopefully the junk itself has given you enough scrap, but if it hasn't, you can always hammer the junky fences for a 25% chance for another. And don't fret about wasting the fences for the scrappy werepig fight coming later, as even if you clear them all, an abandoned junk set piece actually refreshes every lost fence for some reason. But as for the pure brilliance, a trip to those rifts that I kinda told you to ignore today will be in order, as rift stalls are shockingly one of the only ways to get lunar endgame materials without defeating tough bosses or a properly spec'd out Wilson skill tree being in play. But finally, the only way to get more enlightened shards is to deconstruct the enlightened crown that you have just won from the celestial champion or fight a second celestial champion. And no, not kidding. Clay really favors the shadow endgame gear in this regard, and I don't like that. But I digress. What are we even considering all this for? Well, that Elastis Spacer we saw can up and turn chests into mega chests that can turn any item stack limit to 4,294,967,296 each. And no, I'm also not joking about that one either. Say hello to what is essentially infinite storage, everybody. Just be careful that they don't actually break, as they're expensive to fix. But next comes them Auto-Mat-O-Canics, and they're very simple. They are repair kits for anything junky. With but 1 use each, they will fully repair Wobot, the robot that you can find in the junkyard set piece in case you've forgotten, and both the pieces of the Warbis armor set, as yes, endgame armor doesn't technically break. But speaking of, will this armor be worth the trouble? Well, the suit offers high durability, damage reduction to match, and planar right off the bat, but it's going to be the mechanics of both that will make them come last for us. Upon hitting an enemy, we can expect an immediate 10% speed boost that will grow to 30% over the course of 20 seconds. And no, you don't actually have to be fighting an enemy for these buffs to progress. You just gotta hit them once. But get too far away from the target, however, and the suit will lose its targeting parameters, and thus those buffs will vanish. But hold up, Beard, the heck does that even mean? Well, it's best to show and tell with the W.A.R.B.I.S helm, as then it's going to be clear as day, I feel. Not only will the majority of all the mechanics of the suit work the same with the helmet here, the helmet itself offers a potential 20% damage increase over the course of 20 seconds, indicates what level said buffs are at, and comes with a visualization of how near to the target we need to remain to maintain this suit synchronization. As one last jest towards our enemies, if one half of the suit is on and gaining its appropriate levels while the other is just kind of sitting in the inventory or something, if you quickly swap to that inventory piece, it will sync up to the other piece to give us the appropriate buffs of that piece within a few short seconds. It's really good stuff. And it leads to the highest DPS in the entire game. And I promise you, you're not gonna believe it. But to truly wrap up our day comes two last notes. If we happen to be in the scrapyard when Wagstaff is spawning his junk, he will show up, but then he'll just kind of bugger off for another day to try again. But if the scrappy werepig happens to be released from his scrappy prison, something that can only occur roughly 10 days after the death of the nightmare werepig, then Wagstaff will spawn his junk anywhere in the world. So that's why you gotta pay attention to which direction he's running in these cases. And there you have it, everyone. All the crap about scrap that I could provide, years after some of it has been introduced, mind. But hey, that's what we do here. Eventually cover every inch of the constant when no one else will. But thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all, get scrapping, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.